Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Let's slice data with Saurabh. Friends, today I'm here to discuss about one certifications which I have done recently. That is Microsoft Azure Fundamental Certification. Generally, it is called AZ-900 certification. As we all know that this is the cloud era, and each and every company they are talking about cloud technology. And if you do not have proper information about cloud or any certification, basically like Azure Fundamental, then there is a big problem. None of the company is going to consider your resume for any kind of role if you have not done anything in cloud or you are not aware about the cloud technology. And trust me, it is very simple because I am telling you. If you watch this video till end, you will definitely get 10 to 15 questions from this video itself. And then rest of the things, you will just understand the concepts. You will definitely pass this AZ-900 certification in a very simple way, very proper way. I'm telling you this. Okay. So friends, I'm sharing my screen and then we can go ahead from there. So I hope you can see my screen now. So this is the certification which I have done recently, and that is called Microsoft Certified Azure Fundamental. See, until unless you have done this Azure Fundamental certification, you can see I have done it on 19th of April 2025. If you have not done this certification, people are not going to take you seriously because um, this will give you some proper understanding of the cloud. So what is public cloud? What is private cloud? What kind of services you can see there? So all these things will be described in this particular certification. It is $100 certification which you have to do. And the course is available here in Microsoft Certified Azure Fundamentals in the Microsoft website. There's nothing, just you have to create one account here. And once you create this particular account, you have to go through the contents here. There are three basically. Microsoft Azure Fundamentals describe cloud concepts. Microsoft Azure Fundamentals describe cloud Azure architecture and services. Microsoft Azure Fundamentals describe Azure management and governance. So I am going to touch base each of them and I will tell you from where they are asking the questions. So if you can go through my video first and then go to the Microsoft Azure Fundamental course and complete this 5-6 hours of learning, I assure you that you can earn this certification. And this certification is not going to expire. It will be there forever. It is not going to expire. So you can add this in your armor and it will help you for sure. So friends, let's start that. First thing, first concept from where they're asking the questions are like public cloud and private cloud. What is public cloud and what is private cloud? So public cloud is nothing but like there are three public cloud providers. One is Google, who is giving us GCP, Google Cloud Provider, that's GCP. Then there is Azure. From Microsoft, we are getting Azure platform. And then there is a third one called Amazon Web Service, which is we are getting from Amazon. So three basic, but there are so many. I'm not picking all the names, but three basic public cloud providers. What kind of services they are providing? They are providing infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. These three are very important, very important. You are definitely going to get a question out of it. Public and cloud. So public is nothing but a third party provider. Owns and operates the infrastructure. This is very important part. Owns and operate the infrastructure like server, storage, and networking. You don't have to worry about. Like in Azure, if you have purchased something, so they will take care of that. You don't have to purchase the servers, put them in a, so that all you have to do in the private clouds. This is a public cloud, and public cloud is more secure, number one, more elastic, means like up and down, you can do the resources that, okay, when it is needed more, when it is needed less, as well as agility. Very soon you can form the new kind of resource. Let's say Azure storage you want of 5 GB or 50 GB, whatever you want, you can get it from there. All these kind of important things you will get in the public cloud. These are the key pointers. They are definitely going to come in the exam. So you have to understand what is the cost effective, typically follows pay as you go model, eliminating the need for significant upfront capital expenditure on hardware. This is very important point, guys. You are going to get one question out of it: scalability and flexibility. Resources can be easily scaled up and down based on the demand. High availability leverages the provider's global network of data centers within built-in redundancy. It's like even if one center will down, the other center will work, your data will be safe. It's all public cloud will be there. Management cost reduced definitely, and then global accessibility, you can get it from anywhere. I will give you some examples which will help you. That also will be a question in your exam. So infrastructure as a service, remember this: virtual machines, virtual networks, and the storage account. These are the examples of infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service, Azure Apps, Azure App Service, Azure SQL Database, and Azure Kubernetes Service. So these are all platform as a service. And the third one is called software as a service, like Gmail, Power BI, where you are getting the monthly subscription, yearly subscription. That is called the software as a service. How they are different, I will tell you in this video. Please be with the video till end so that you can learn everything. Then the private cloud. Private cloud is a cloud infrastructure that is dedicated to a single organization. As you know, they have to do everything on their own. So in the public cloud owned and operated by Microsoft, if you're talking about Azure, in the private cloud owned and operated by the organization, it's a multi-tenant, resource shared logically, and it's a single tenant because it is only for one office. Accessibility over the public internet, it is private network on the internet. It is pay-as-you-go model and primarily OpEx. OpEx means operating expenditure. Here you have to put the CapEx as well as the OpEx because you have to maintain the servers also in the private cloud. Scalability, they are highly scalable and elastic. Scalable means you can increase the number of results. Let's say today you need only one virtual machine, tomorrow you need 10, you can do that. Scalability is there. Immediately you can do that. Elastic, at what time what you needed. Let's say I need in the morning time, I need more storage. In the evening time, I need less storage. Not only storage, anything you can say, so they're elastic. All the resources can go up and down as per the demand. Here scalability is limited. Here security is robust. Here is a great control over security. So organization's responsibility. It is here, it is not the responsibility. Control here, it is less control because it is operated by the third-party providers like Amazon, Google, whatever. Here it is greater control over the infrastructure because it is you are managing. So these kind of differences are there in the public cloud and the private cloud. You have to look into them. Then there are three kind of services which I have told you. If you go to the public cloud, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Control level, infrastructure as a service, most control. Why? Because including operating system, middlewares, apps, data, everything is managed by you. Here you can manage only apps and data. Operating system is managed by management Microsoft. You can see here. And here you have to just manage your configurations and user accounts like Gmail, Power BI. You can name them. Software as a service, there are so many. Focus infrastructure components, application deployment, and user applications. Simple. Pay as you go, subscription based. Virtual machines, these are the examples. These examples are coming in the exam for sure. Virtual machines, public virtual network, Azure storage, and then app service, Azure SQL database, AKS, Azure functions. And here it is Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, Power BI, Gmail, whatever you can say, that is SaaS. So IaaS, EaaS, and SaaS. So till now we have discussed around 5 questions. 5 questions will come in this particular section. I'm not saying only from this video, you have to go here. You can go to this particular link and you can start learning from here. Describe cloud computing. So here you can say introduction to cloud computing, then slowly you can go there. What is cloud computing? So everything is given here. So you have to go through these details as well. So as I told you, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, and on-prem. On-prem is your private. Everything is managed by you. IaaS. So here, this is the managed by the customer, and this is managed by the Microsoft. Microsoft is managing physical host, physical network, and physical data centers in IaaS. And rest of the things are managed by the customer, means you. But here in the SaaS, only few things like devices, account and identities, and information and data is managed by you. So definitely you are going to get 3 to 5 questions from this. Next is Microsoft Entra ID. I cannot explain that much detail here, but you have to understand that Microsoft Entra ID is Microsoft cloud-based identity and access management service. It's a digital gatekeeper for your organization. And see the hierarchy. Tenant, Microsoft Entra ID, management group, subscription, resource group, and resource. So resource, then resource group, then subscription. This question will also come that, okay, what is the hierarchy of these things? And you have to tell that this resource will come under resource group and resource group will go under one system. This is hierarchy and you will get it. These are the core functionalities of the Microsoft Entra ID. Single sign-on is the most important thing. When you go through the practice test for this, you will definitely get a question on this. Single sign-on means, I hope you all know that, enables ID users to log in once with their work or school account and access multiple connected applications. Single sign-on will help them to access multiple applications. Okay. Then Microsoft Entra ID is a critical component of modern IT infrastructure, providing a secure and efficient way to manage identity and access in today's increasingly cloud-centric world. It helps organization um, basically improve security, enhance user productivity through SSO, that is single sign-on, which I already informed you, simplify identity management across diverse applications and resources. So Microsoft Entra ID, do not miss it. I got around 4 to 5 questions based on this one. When you go to this Microsoft course, try to learn everything about Microsoft Entra ID as it is a gatekeeper, right? Azure resource log. This I got around 3 to 4 questions. What is Azure resource logs? Are crucial. There are two kind of logs. Number one is read only. You can put a log and a delete. What is the role of this? That you can prevent accidental deletion or modification of a particular Azure resource. Let's say you have Azure resource and you don't want anyone to delete it or anyone to modify it, then you can use this Azure resource log. Okay, so you can use that resource log. Also, I got several questions. ARM template. ARM template are a powerful and essential tool for managing and automating your Azure infrastructure. Hey guys, I'm covering the topics which will give you questions. I'm not saying that only this much will help you. I'm telling you the topics what you need to learn in that particular Microsoft course. So whenever these things will come, please pay more attention and create notes about it. That will help. ARM template is a JSON file that describes the infrastructure you want to deploy and configure in Azure. So this is very important. There will be definitely a one question. It's a JSON template. So you remember this thing, that JSON file. Next is Azure Arc. Azure Arc is a service from Microsoft Azure that acts as a bridge, extending the Azure platform capabilities to help you build applications and services. The flexibility to run across data centers in the multi-cloud environment. It allows you to manage your resources consistently, apply Azure governance and security policies, and leverage familiar Azure services regardless of where your workloads are located. Azure Arc is also a very important question you will get in the exam for sure. What is Azure Function? Azure Function is again an important one. It is talking about powerful and cost-effective way to run code in the cloud without the overhead of managing servers. Serverless. So these kind of questions will come. Okay, if you have a serverless, what function, what Azure resource you will use? So you have to say Azure Function. Azure Function is also important, guys. So please go through that once you are going through that particular Azure region. Azure region is a geographical area containing one or more data centers. These data centers are interconnected by a low latency network. So this definition will come there. What is Azure region? You have to explain it. Availability zone are physically separated data centers within Azure region. Each availability zone is independent power, cooling, and network infrastructure. Region pair almost 300 miles away. So let's say in one place there is a flood or something. So the second backup data will go there. So that will come under Azure region pair. So this is again a location-based question, and you will get a drop-down list. Okay, at least 300 miles away. So you have to select whether it is Azure region pair availability zones and all. So you have to select Azure region pair. So I'm telling you this is very important. Then Azure storage. Storage is also very important, guys. Why? In public network, you can define your storage. I need this particular kind of storage or that particular kind of storage. What kind of storage you want? You can put it. It's scalable. So you can put 5 GB today, 50 GB tomorrow. It's very easily you can manage that, but you have to pay for it. Money is all about that. Azure Blob Storage is a massively scalable object or storage for an unstructured data. Unstructured data. So Azure Blob Storage will definitely, there will be a question like binary data, images, videos. So this is going to come there. Azure Files. Again, this is again a storage point to manage the file shares in the cloud accessibility by the industry server, so SMB and NFS protocols. It's again a question which is coming generally in all the Azure fundamental questions. That okay, industry standards are this, then what will you use? So you have to say Azure. So this kind of questions are. So this is very important. It's like there will be a full story that okay, in one particular location, and there are two data in the secondary region as well, and I want to read data from both the locations. And what will I use? So it is GRS, your redundant storage. So remember this thing, it has the capability that you can read data from the secondary region even when the primary region is still operational. This kind of questions are coming there. So whenever you are going to read the entire course from there, then you can follow this. This key point you should not miss. Resource tag. Resource tags are also important. You can, which are name and value pairs. You can assign the resource tag. Think of a metadata that helps you to organize, manage, or track your Azure assets in more structured and meaningful way. So it's a metadata. So resource tags. When you are going to read that, please pay attention on that and understand that. So this topic is also very important. And the vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So this question is essential question in Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. Vertical scaling, what is horizontal scaling? Vertical scaling is mean that uh, increasing or decreasing the resources of a single compute resource like virtual one. Single compute resource. I'm saying whether you want to increase or decrease the power of a one machine, then it is vertical. And you can add, like increase or decrease the number of instances of your compute resource, then it is called horizontal. Let's say instead of making one machine bigger, you add more machine to handle the load. That is called horizontal. Vertical scaling and horizontal scaling are the important thing you have to understand. Then in Azure Blob Storage, these kind of access tiers are there. Hot, cool, cold, and archive. Definitely there will be two questions from this also. In the drop down or maybe in a case study, and they will ask you, if you want the highest availability, what will you use? You want the highest storage cost, but the lowest access. Then what will you use? So you have to use the hot. Cool tier is lower storage cost than hot, but higher access cost. And the availability is slightly lower, like 99%. So see 99.9% in hot tier and 99% in cool tier. These kind of questions will come there in the drop down. Minimum retention policy 30 days. So you have to go through these things as well. Then hot and cool is done. Then the cold. Cold is again same as cool tier. It is 99%, but minimum retention days is 90 days. This is cool and cold. There's a difference between cool and cold. That also you have to remember, and you have to work on that. Then the archive will come. Archive is like 180 days period. So basically, they're all divided into periods when you want that particular data. If you need frequently, then you might go for hot. If you need very late once in a blue moon, then you can use the archive tier for effective blob storage. Then shared. So this is like shared compute tiers. So this is I have seen one question like this. Designed for production workload includes features like deployment slots, backups, and traffic manager integration, higher SLA than basic. Scale auto scaling up to 10 instances. So shared standard is important. Basic is like basic, only three instances. Here it is 10 instances. And if you want premium, it will load up 30 instances. So just remember the tier run your apps on dedicated Azure virtual machines. You pay for the compute resources allocated. Basic, standard, and on the VM. Azure virtual machine, I have told you that it is. Azure virtual machine is what? Infrastructure as a service, which I have already told you. See, I'm covering all the topics which are important and going to come in your exam. Fault tolerance. This also is a question there, maybe in a drop down, or you will get it like anyway, means you have to get it. Fault tolerance is the ability of the system to operate correctly, even if the event of the failure of some of its components. Some components will fail, but still you can work. That is called fault. Resilient plan in Azure Focus. It is a resilient plans means what? A backup plan, basically, to recover quickly from the various disruptions. So resilient plan is there. So resilient plan, fault tolerance, these are all for the disaster recovery plan, you can say. So you have to learn about it. Then there is Azure policy. Azure policy is also very important. Azure policy is the service in Azure that allows you to create. So these are all governance things basically now we have started the last part. Create, assign, manage policies to enforce organizational standards and access compliance at scale, Azure resources. Then Azure Advisor is a free service built on that reliability, security, performance, operation. Basically, you can see everything on the Azure Advisor. So Azure Policy, Azure Advisor, then the Monitor. Monitor will allow you to collect and analyze account telemetry data. This kind of question will come. Okay, how can you, where you can act on telemetry data? So Azure Monitor is the answer. Azure Health Data Service is the protected health information in the cloud. Open healthcare like FHIR, fast healthcare interoperability resources, and DICOM. So this is health means like when it is going down, when it is coming up, all these things. Then the cost. This is also important, like Azure total cost ownership calculator. Why I'm telling you, because these are the topics which you have to learn in Microsoft portal. If you follow these topics, this video till end, you will get a lot of information basically. And when you go there and read it, create some notes out of it. Next day, go for exam and you will clear that. I'm telling you. If you read all these topics, what I'm covering in this video is going to help. Azure total cost of ownership is like this tool allows you to input details about your on-prem infrastructures like servers, databases, storage, and networking. Then Azure pricing calculator is what? Like while not specifically a TCO tool, the Azure pricing calculator helps you to estimate the cost of individual resources based on your anticipated use, predict basically. So this is important. Precise pricing and total cost. There is big difference in that. Pay as you go model, you already know. Whatever you will use, you have to pay for that. This is all in public. Service endpoint. Service endpoint is pure and direct connectivity to Azure services from within your Azure virtual network. It is essentially extend the private IP address space of your VNet to the Azure service. This is service, and then VNet peering. Peering is also important, how to connect two virtual networks in Azure. So peering is also very important. So Azure VM, I have already told you that it is infrastructure as a service. You don't have to worry about underlying physical hardware. Enjoy that. And in this way, we have covered most of the things, most of the topics. Let me rephrase for you. If you are going for Azure Fundamentals, what all you have to learn, what all you can do that. The first thing I have told you that public cloud and the private cloud, what are their characteristics and how they are different. Then infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. What is the basic difference between them? When I have told you resource, then resource group, subscription, the hierarchy basically. That will also come. Then this Microsoft Entra ID, it is very important. I told you it is a gatekeeper for your organization. This you have to read. Then after that, you can read about the Azure resource logs. What kind of logs are there? ARM template, JSON, which I have already informed you, Azure Arc and Azure Function. Azure Function is a serverless, I have told you. So this is important. Then Azure regions, availability zones, region pairs. And in blob storage, there are different kind of tiers, which I have told you, hot, cool, cold, and archive. You are going to get questions from this portion. Then pre-standard, I've already informed you, you can read about it. Then the fault tolerance, resilient plan, Azure policy, Azure advisor, monitor, health data service, total cost of ownership, pricing calculator, pay as you go, service endpoint, and virtual peering, and the APM, Azure virtual machines. These are all important parts which you have to read. So if you complete, if you have watched this video total, just take a notes out of it, what you have to need. So why I am telling you, because when I was going through this particular course, right, it is like 2 minutes, 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 1 hour, 52 minutes. It's around 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 6, 7 hour course. Sometimes we lose interest and we miss the topics which we need to cover. So that I have covered in this particular lecture. You can go and watch those topics pretty easily from this particular path. Focus on that. So you don't have to remember everything. If you understand the concept, you can easily clear this exam. Only 700 marks you need out of 1,000, and it's around $100. Very simple. And you can get a certification like this. And this is not going to expire. So it will be there forever. $100, you will get a Microsoft certificate. Microsoft certification is very difficult. Why? Because they will keep an eye on you, what all you have done. And it's a proctored exam, basically. They will keep an eye on you. and they will ask you to showcase your surroundings, your identity card, and then they will allow you release your exam, and you have to complete that. Around 40 to 45 questions maximum they will ask, and based on that, you have to score around 700 out of 1,000. If you scored, immediately they will give you this kind of certification, and this is valid certification. This means that you know about the cloud fundamentals, basically in Azure, given by Microsoft. So thank you very much who have watched this video till end. Kindly like, share, and subscribe my channel, and I will keep creating these kind of videos. Thank you very much. Have a good day.